All right. We got GM Merkle in the house. In his house, it looks like, with a nice dude. You got a really nice toaster oven looking thing behind your shoulder, by the way.
Yeah, my mom got that for me so I could cook pizzas. It doesn't work very well for that, but it's good for other things.
Like sandwiches. It looks like a killer sandwich maker machine.
It's really good. And above my other shoulder here is, well, let me just pull it down for you.
Yeah, let's go. I really appreciate the past couple weeks, starting with Bill. Bill's the first one that really started doing the background stuff. Daniels was very serene last week. And now let's see some local art from your.
So I'm just going to give you a guess. Who do you think this is?
Is that, I don't know, is that Mike Krek?
No, not a bad guess. This is the crab from Moana.
Yes.
Right? He's so shiny. Look at him.
He's so shiny.
Good. This is most of the artwork goes into something that's down here, and it's the trash can. But this, on the other hand, this is never going away. I love this.
I feel bad. Fortunately, nobody watches these videos ever will. I feel like I need to apologize to Mike. I was going for a family member, and probably not you. So that's all. I didn't think it actually bore any resemblance to Mike, who I love dearly.
There are other drawings that Charlie has done of Mike, and it's not very flattering. So it's you know how it goes.
It's like, look, Dad, it's you, and you're like, ouch. That makes me feel even worse than I did feel about myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, all right. Speaking of feeling bad, it's COVID. It's been COVID season for always. It seems like, I don't know if we're ever getting out of COVID season, but a couple of teams in the league have kind of got hit by COVID. And you texted me a couple of weeks back, and you went in and threw your name in the hat. I think I need to pull up the text, but I think what you said is, if we're giving out an award for COVID MVP or most COVIDed team or something like that, that you would like to present your team as a possibility. So let's talk COVID, man. Let's talk COVID blues.
Yeah, like I at least felt as if I deserved that award for that week, because other people may have lost the same amount of starts or somewhere close to that. I think I lost 8 starts that week from not just drop ad players, but like regular players. And other people may have lost a lot too, but they weren't going head to head with the fellow undefeated. And ever since, my team just really hasn't been able to bounce back. They were hurt by that loss, and Daniel Grantham is just continuing to rake and
just slaying everybody. Like I thought I had him. I really did. I thought I had him.
You know how much money he spent too?
Zero.
It's impossible.
I know, it's amazing. Like, it's the greatest draft. It may go down as the greatest draft in league history, honestly.
Or he may just be lumped in the category of the New England Patriots. Just lose in the end. That's what I'm holding out for.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, no, you're right, because honestly, early on in the season, like, your team was just like a rocket taking off. And then, like you said, you guys kind of hit that wall. So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing getting everybody in the locker room? What's the locker room speech for the team? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, someone's got to step up. Last week, Blake and I I felt as though we were competitive until about halfway. And I'm looking like, well, what's the deal? Is he just outstarting me? And that wasn't the case at all. I got people like DeMar DeRozan going for 7 points. And when that's like one of your top guys and he's only putting up 7 points, and then the dudes you do have drop ad with aren't getting you double digit points either. It's like, well, then, you can't do anything with that. And so, you try to rally the troops, but last week it just wasn't working.
Everybody's still recovering. Everybody's still in COVID protocol.
That's right.
But one guy I noticed. So, am I right? Did Joker in one game have 75 points? Am I dreaming that, or was that?
No, he did. He had 75 just the other day.
Like, talk to me about. I mean, I'm guessing, like, I feel like one of the best parts of fantasy is there's players that you grow to love even more. You're like, I like this guy, but now I love this guy. Like, this year for me, I think that's Jaylen Brown or Malcolm Brogdon. I think it's ended up being Jaylen Brown. is the guy that I'm like, I kind of liked him, but now I really, really wish he wouldn't have signed that extension with the Celtics so he could come home to Atlanta. That's what I would have really appreciated.
Oh yeah,
amazing. But anyway, so I mean, is Joker been for you, or like talking about the Joker?
Absolutely. So I remember when he first came on the scene a couple years ago, where he kind of took the NBA by storm. Somebody else had him on their team, and I just remember thinking like, this is the most unathletic looking dude I've ever seen in my life. And so I just liked him for that reason.
Yeah, right.
And I remember showing some of my eighth graders, like, tell me, what do you think this guy does for a living? I just found like a random picture of him. It's like, I bet you didn't think he's, one of the best players in the NBA. Anyway, so I really liked him. And then last year I was able to pick him up, and he was great. And now this year, you wouldn't know it by my overall record, but Jokic is the highest scoring player in the league.
Is that right? I really didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure him and Luka and I think a couple other guys are hovering around the mid 50s averaging, and he's at 56.7 as I look at it right now.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I love Jokic gifts. They're so great because most of them are him being like dorky, silly, like his little dance moves that he does and all that stuff. So I love that.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what, he's angry right now. Because my team's just not helping him out at all. And part of that's on me. Like right now, even though they gave me the update saying that Kendrick Nunn had some COVID interactions, he's still in my starting lineup. So that's a problem on me, but it says he's healthy. So anyways, I'll have to hear from him on that. But yeah, he's been the highest
trade demand kind of guy though, so I think you're okay. He seems like the kind of guy like, he gets his anger out on the court. No trade demands. Hopefully.
Yeah, no. There were some people who wanted a trade. I remember Carlos a couple of weeks ago in this very same interview said he was giving out some reasonable trades. He obviously forgot the one he offered me.
I think you texted me that like, what is this trash? What was it? It was like a scrub. It was like, I don't know,
No, I can tell you exactly what it was. He was going to give me Bam and Harrison Barnes for Jokic, and it wasn't Booker, but it was someone who was like in the mid 30s. It's like, are you kidding me? No. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Stop it. That's not how you get to the top. It is funny that the Bam thing is funny because I find it's hard sometimes in fantasy to remember like in the real NBA. Like, that's not a good move to trade Bam for Jokic, but you could imagine a package if the two teams wanted to do that because, like, future, like, whatever. But it's like, no, we're playing for just this season. I'm not going to have these guys anyway next year. And we're not playing for, like, projected growth or how they help team culture. Like, we're just looking for stats. Like, I just need the numbers. That's what it's all about.
If you can somehow throw in, like, draft picks and with trades, I think things can get real interesting.
So what do you think about that? Somebody was texting me about that, they were like, I want to make a trade that may like look really bad on paper, like a really great player for a scrub from the other team, but there's an agreement, a gentleman's brother in Christ agreement that, we're trading out like 2 or 3 draft picks. Like, does that work? Can we do that, you think?
I mean, I think that's tough. I think that's tough because, just the first trade that's happened in the league, you should have seen this side group text. Matt and Daniel were just saying Bill got away with murder again.
I was on like 3 other texts exactly the same thing. Like, what is going on here?
I didn't have too much of a problem with it personally, but at the same time, I think you'd get nothing but that if you had these, brother in Christ agreements, as you called it. But if there was some way to do draft picks, I think that could be interesting. But the problem is, that stuff is going to start coming at the end of the year. So there would have to be a trade deadline, like halfway during the year. Because if you did it at the end and I'm like 3-7, 3-8, then there's no way I'm really going to do anything. Sure, I'll go for the future and someone else will go for the now and we'll both be happy.
That's a great call. We might need to think about that in the next few weeks, implement a trade deadline if people want to start getting creative with the drafts.
Right.
All right. So last question. You are a virtuoso musician yourself. You're a connoisseur of the musical arts. If you had to pick a song that summarizes the nature of the season for your team or for the league at large, like with with COVID, with just everything that's related to this, if you had to pick a song that's kind of the soundtrack, the one that's playing through your head each week as you're going through your lineup setting and dealing with opponents and thinking about trades and all that stuff, hit me with a song or two that's been going through your mind related to the league so far.
That's a great question. There's some just by title alone that come to mind. But lately, when you're on a 3-game losing streak and the last couple of weeks just haven't been close at all, there's a song called "Cold" by Chris Stapleton that why you got to be so cold hit me right in the middle of my soul. Like this is it's destroying me, man. I'm done. So for all you listening, go out and listen to "Cold" by Chris Stapleton, and you'll feel the blues that I'm feeling.
There we go. Or they're just ready because everybody's gonna hit what you're getting hit with. We're all gonna hit it at some point this season. So
that's what I'm hoping. But I would like to see if Grantham can go the rest of the year without one drop ad.
I would love to see him go. I mean, I don't really want it to happen. I mean, unless we end up in the finals together or something. But if he went undefeated with no drop ads, that would be incredible.
It's unreal. Like when I was playing him, I couldn't believe how. Because my strategy has always been, if you can get more starts than the other guy, you're most likely going to win.
That's right. Yeah.
And you just have to figure out how to do that. So you look at the schedule a couple days, and so you add someone on Tuesday, and then you notice that, they play Thursday and Friday as well. So you can get 3 starts out of the guy for pretty cheap. And so you start to try and figure it out that way. But for him against Daniel, it didn't matter what I did. He always had more starts than me. It was incredible. If I had a full lineup one day, I would have maybe one guy the next, and yet he was able to balance everything out. And I don't get how a draft can set you up like that.
I don't know either. I don't know. He's a marvel. But like you said, it's just hitting you right in your soul whenever you play him. Like, even if you think you got hope, it's cold, man. It's cold.
Yeah, I will say this, and this goes to how much fun this league is. So a quick story. A couple weeks ago, or actually, I guess it was the first week of the season, so about a month or so ago, we arrive at Embry Hills at the 11:30, and the Granthams are on their way out after the 10 o'clock service. And Daniel comes up to me, and we're talking. And then afterwards, when we go inside, Hannah's like, "Oh, it was nice seeing the Granthams. We haven't seen them in 8 months or something like that. What'd y'all talk about?" "Oh, we talked fantasy basketball." That was the only thing. Like nothing else came across. "Hey, how you been doing?" No, it was nothing but fantasy basketball the whole time.
Instantly, we just pick right where we left off.
Oh yeah, and it felt totally natural too. We didn't have to do any small talk. That was what we needed to get to.
That's amazing. You need to send out elders, be like, "Hey, elders, listen, I know we're trying to get everybody reintegrated as the church is coming back together. I really think we need to set up some, instead of small groups, we can do some small group Bible studies, but also fantasy basketball leagues. That's the key. Get that going." Actually, no joke. Andrew Hall was telling me that JMac has set up like a fantasy league for, like, I guess dads with kids. I think it's like Parker's, Drums, McElvain's, Andrew and Crawford and all this stuff. And so there's a little pandemic movement of basketball leagues with the youngins. So that's good.
That's good. It's fun, man. I love it.
Yeah, me too. All right, this was cool, man. Thanks. Good luck, and thanks for giving us a suggestion for whenever we get our hearts broken over the next few weeks. Give us a track to get a little needle drop.
The whole album is pretty great, but that one will hit you right here.
What's up? You heard it here first, everybody.
All right, see you, man.